What should we do about the millions of illegal immigrants here now?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
What should we do about the millions of illegal immigrants here now?
Okay. You bring up the issue of illegal immigration. I have put forth a very clear view of how to address the challenge we face from illegal immigration here in America. It starts with the fundamental principle that says our law today is upside down. It's too easy to get here illegally and too hard to get here legally. We need to reverse that. I have a special view of this. I served in the Army on a unit that was responsible for patrolling some of the then East German and Czechoslovakian border. I know what it means to try and control an open space and know who's coming in and out of our country. With the threats we face from abroad today, the terrorist threats we face from abroad, I think it is absolutely critical that we know who's coming in and out of our country. My experience teaches me too that we can do it. It's a matter of political will. To date, neither party has chosen to do that. Has chosen to take on that absolutely critical task of protecting American sovereignty. And I for one, will vote to do that and provide the resources to make sure that we do that. We have a second task then, which is to make sure that employers have a simple, clear, effective way to make sure that the folks that they are bringing into their employment are here legally, came here lawfully, and can document that. We can't make the burden too great, or we'll have regulations that destroy jobs, but we can do it. We live in a society today, I think, that can put together a simple, accurate, clear, concise way. And then when we do that, we can begin to think about putting in place a legal immigration system. My forefathers obviously came here too, Pompeo, Italian. They came to this country as immigrants as well. And we have a deep and long tradition in America of helping folks who want to come here so that they can be part of this great nation. And I know that if we do those first two things, if we secure our borders, if we don't, as Representative Goyal has said, if we don't think that building border fences is ridiculous, if we move away from this notion that it's ridiculous to secure our border, then we can begin to have a rational, coherent, and immigration policy, one that I think every American would be very, very proud of.
I'm glad you brought up the issue of immigration. I believe our immigration system is in a complete crisis right now. It is both an economic crisis and a national security crisis. And I do believe that there are two steps that we must take to get serious about solving the immigration crisis, which has frankly been a problem that both parties have let fester for more than 2 decades. The first is that we must secure the border. I would agree with my opponent, the fact that we can secure this border. We must, with both military and intelligence assets, to bring order to the chaos that is happening on our southern border right now. It is an absolute danger to not know who is crossing into this country and to have that lawlessness happen. The second issue, and I think this is where we may disagree in emphasis, is the crackdown on employers who knowingly hire undocumented workers. It's always, well, watch out for job-destroying measures. Well, guess what destroys jobs right now? When employers knowingly hire undocumented workers and undercut the native born workers and American workers who could have taken that job. So we must do everything we can to make sure that we do not have undocumented foreign workers who are coming in to displace American jobs. And I would, and I'm glad that my opponent mentioned his personal story. Obviously, this is a personal issue for me. As many of you know, if you couldn't tell, my parents immigrated from India, and they came to this country 35 years ago. And we thank the ground, we kiss the ground every day for our great luck to live in this wonderful country. And one of the things that I worked on when I was in the Kansas House that I helped write was a law that made English the official language of the state of Kansas. My mom. English is her third language. And that's because she knows what we all know, is that we rise together. We do our best as Americans when we rise together. That we do have one destiny, one common dream, and that is to be Americans and to do it in a lawful, orderly way that grows our economy, treats people well, and makes America the beacon of liberty that it's always been for this world and will continue to be for many years to come.
actually are in pretty close agreement. It is at least a fairly new position for Representative Gold when he was working on issues related to immigration and policy for the ACLU. When he was writing about this issue years ago, he talked about the difficulty and the ridiculous nature of building a border fence. I can tell you that it can be done. And it's not just our southern border. We've got challenges at our ports of entry in Denver. We've got challenges in Long Beach and the harbor where so many goods come into our nation. We've got challenges at Newark International Airport, making sure that we know who's coming in and out of our country. And we need to be serious about it, and it can't be something that we're just saying to voters so that they'll think we're in the position that most voters favor in the 4th District of Kansas.
Going back for my entire career, both before I was in the legislature and while I was in the legislature, I've had the same consistent view: enforce the law and make sure that we secure our border and make our immigration system part of the problem and not part of the solution, excuse me, not part of the problem here in this country and in this economy. We must take seriously the fact that we crack down on employers who are knowingly hire undocumented immigrants, because that's the economic magnet as to why people cross the border. It's a two-step thing. It's not only we do not have order at the border, which we must get by securing that border, but we also must reduce the economic magnet as to why people come to this country to undercut good wages by people who work here. So I do think that we need more people who don't seek to engage in cheap shots about this policy, but engage in a serious discussion about how we can get a bipartisan, comprehensive solution to our immigration crisis.